the fourth industrial revolution is here. This period of a rapid technological advancement is changing the way we work and live. According to Frost & Sullivan, Sisonke Mgwebi, tools such as AI, automation and blockchain are megatrends affecting job creation and profiles. Sisonke joins us now to explore the relationship between job creation and technology adoption across the African continent. Sisonke, thank you for being with us today, and a good afternoon to you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Off the bat, I think immediately my mind always goes to the issue of jobs versus technology, on the African continent. The conversation sometimes can be survivalist in nature, that jobs will be taken away as a result of technology. But are we really seeing this? Is this, backed by figures and data?
It is, when it comes to the sense of there is a shift in the job landscape. There are people and jobs that are becoming less, they're becoming redundant, but we are seeing that there are jobs being created adjacent. So it's a process of reskilling people in specific positions to be able to adopt more technologies and be part of this digital revolution.
Now, I must ask you, Sisonke, it is a matter in my mind also of upskilling, reskilling, and overall skilling, but quickly. And I think it is the matter of pace. Just talk to us about the issue of pace here, because I think, we are very certain of the fact that we can create new kinds of jobs.
So when it comes to pace, there's two aspects to it. There's the existing jobs with existing people here, and then also the youth. Our continent it's got the youngest and will have the most people on the planet by 2050. So there is a lot of people that we will be able to educate to fill that demand in the global sense when it comes to people having digital skills and using these jobs. But when it comes to us, the ones who are existing right now, when it comes to that and the pace there, it depends also by sector and by industry. But there are some industries that are moving at a much faster rate when they're able to transition people into more tech-focused roles, but then more practical jobs have a much slower rate. So it's industry specific.
Sisonke, what does your research tell you that it's going to take in order for us to quickly adapt here? Is it a matter of a policy? Is it a matter of the private sector, creating capacity, specifically on the continent also, where we are known just to move at snail's pace with regards to issues like this?
We have to tackle it on both ends. Yes, policy, and yes to private sector also helping out. So education just in general is something that's very important. So policies when it comes to primary school, high school, even all the way up to what jobs and employers should be doing for their employees to make sure that people are keeping their jobs and making sure that they're training them. So policies and regulation in that sense. And then again, when it comes to the second point of being able to just make sure that we're able to educate people and have those jobs to move things a bit faster. Private sector can really help with that. They're going to be able to invest in this because usually that's where most of the movement happens across our continent. It's the private sector investing into our people. So they'll be able to help on that end when the government is also able to help incentivize them to do it.
And then infrastructure. Of course, we often speak of digital infrastructure and how important that is. I'm wondering if there is a correlation between digital infrastructure coming online and then jobs being created, Sisonke, or, is that just two separate things that eventually join coincidentally?
So they do happen in tandem. It has to happen at the same time. There's another thing that we're not talking about here when it comes to digital infrastructure, and that's just electrification to be able to power that digital infrastructure. So there's a lot of layers that go into it, but it can happen at the same time, and we are looking at that. We've got an investment barometer where we look at where is money flowing in the continent, across the continent, and we see that these types of projects are coming up and are moving now, bankable projects actually, moving now across the continent to be able to help and support this digital revolution. Yeah.
And then another interesting aspect here, and I guess because when we speak about the kinds of jobs with AI and blockchain and automation, we are making reference to the fourth industrial revolution. What we find is that the African continent also has needs that pertain to the second industrial revolution. And so I'm wondering also about development here, taking a look at the needs that we have in terms of investment and in terms of the limitations of that investment, Sisonke, and how we're talking about having to still continue, for instance, with infrastructure from the second industrial revolution, which looks like rail, for instance, and still look at a 4-hour.
So when it comes to that, when it comes to those types of projects, we need to understand that we are at an opportune spot where we are able to leapfrog a lot of the developments or the research and the forwards and backwards dance that more developed continents have done. So there's an opportunity in that sense. I do understand that we are limited in some areas. So it's a way of understanding how can we leverage these fourth industrial technologies to be able to first solve the problems that are existing on the ground here, and then also leverage our opportunity within the global space.
And then let's also then speak about, young people, this young population on the continent that seems to be emerging, Sisonke. One of the things, of course, is that there is this huge potential that sits in our ability to be able to innovate quicker and easier. But are we seeing this show up in data that, young people, first of all, are accessing the kind of education, skills and opportunities that will help them become meaningful players, within the fourth industrial revolution with AI and blockchain automation? Or is it still a conversation, that we're still trying to kind of move towards?
So we're at a very good spot where population growth is where economic development has historically followed. So we have a group of people that can contribute meaningfully to the GDP in the next up until 2050. We have numbers on that. When it comes to what's actually happening, it is policy-wise when it comes to finding ways to get to the schools and educate the people. So it's very dependent on the country's ability to do that from a political stance.
And then before I let you go, let's also then just speak about regional integration here. When we speak about a 4-hour, East Africa has been really good at regional integration period. But, are we seeing that that kind of technological advancement also being able to bridge the gaps that we have regionally and assist us in overall development, Sisonke, that will lead to then growing economies, and growing economies will then lead to jobs?
Yes. So there's movement when it comes to the technological space across the continent. We're adopting at a very fast rate, but adopting different things in different regions. So it's based on what the agenda is, or not the agenda, but the direction and the goals that specific country has or region has or conglomerates. Yeah.
Well, I'd like to thank you for your time. It's always a pleasure catching up with you, Sisonke. Keep well. Have a great week. That was Sisonke Mgwebi, consultant for Frost & Sullivan.